For sure, what I want people to know is you're better off to reduce oxalate slowly. If you're not sure how to do that, get somebody to help you. And there's more than one way to skin this particular cat. Terrible analogy, or terrible saying, but that could be as simple as my baseline diet I take to a low to medium range for daily intake. Low range would be 40 to 60 milligrams of oxalate, like that I'm taking in by diet. Some people do quite fine at a medium oxalate intake, and that would be a place I'd start as my baseline. But you might want to have every few days do an add-in of a big serving of something that's higher. And what that does is keep your body kind of paying attention to the oxalate that's coming in, because we don't know exactly how this works, but it's been characterized so many times on the Trying Low Oxalate support group. We know there's some kind of signaling that goes on there. So if the gut's got a lot of oxalate in it, or there's oxalate hitting the bloodstream, the tissues aren't necessarily going to let go and dump unless their saturation point is so high they can kind of come up over the threshold. I do find some people do well. They've got a baseline diet. They've got certain foods they're going to use to give them a bump up every 2 or 3 days. And then they slowly bring that bump up down, right? Reduce the serving or sub other foods, or there's that kind of approach. The other kind of thing, but this depends again on your personality and style and what you handle better, but is sort of the slow, relentless, I'm going to come down, say 50 milligrams a week, and I'm going to do that as long as it takes. So I had one client who started with me and she was at 330 milligrams of oxalate a day. No, 3,300, sorry.
Well, even 300 is high. Yeah.
Oh, 300 is high, but she was at 3,300.
That's probably where I was too.
And she came down 10 milligrams a day.
Okay. Slow and steady.
And she weighed and measured everything. And she essentially ate the same way every day. And she would stop when a big oxalate dump would hit. So it took her like over a year, that little bit, and then pause if there was a lot of dumping going on. And then that little bit again.
Okay.
And she was relentless. So some people can do it that way, but you really have to know what your own preferred approach would be and how flexible you want to be and how methodical and organized you want to be. I really like the idea myself of, okay, I'm going to shoot the bulk of my diet here and I'm going to have add-ins that take me up higher. And then I'm going to slowly scrape those out over time.
And you would not recommend somebody who just has been eating oxalates all their life to go pure carnivore and cut it to zero. That's going to cause some killer dumping.
Now, see, I am a carnivore now. But
So
I was a carnivore after I'd been 10 years low oxalate.
So you did the step down slowly.
I had already done all the hard work, right? So I think that there's a lot of discussion on the carnivore groups about things like adaptation and people being told things like, just double down on how much meat you're eating, or things like that when they report terrible symptoms. And I think we need to understand, particularly for those people, they have nosedived. There's all this oxalate leaving their body. So really what we want is for people to be able to take perhaps therapeutic doses of supplements to help their body handle the work they're doing. And perhaps they also need to take a certain amount of higher oxalate something. So let's say I want to become a carnivore, but maybe I'm willing to have a golden milk every day, which is 150 or 200 milligrams of oxalate. There might be a way where we can get a concentrated oxalate source that will allow you to still be able to come down in your oxalate fairly slowly, but start to get some of the benefits of the nutrient density of carnivore. But I think the whole carnivore world is ignoring that adaptation is not maybe adaptation, and that maybe we should be telling people, gee, if you're having problems with your heart rhythm and your mineral levels are messed up, maybe you need to take some supplements, or maybe you need some B vitamins to support the kind of work your body's doing, because we really don't understand how much work our body has to do in order to cope with this stuff. And it's highly oxidative. It's disrupting mitochondria. It's doing all these things that we know are really bad. And so we should be supporting people to do carnivore slowly, and maybe even do it in a way where they're slowly taking plant matter out of their diet, but they're eating day one. Maybe they're having something as high as a spinach or something like that, where they're getting a really big hit of oxalate. And then maybe they've got a mid-range day where maybe they have some sweet potato, but they're not after that spinach.
Yeah, we didn't talk potatoes. They're up there too.
They're up there too. And then, have like this medium oxalate, but their lowest day and kind of a wave formation to kind of keep their body responsive. Because in the same way that you can get adapted to a workout, that you just keep doing the same workout over and over again. If your body sees, oh, this is the new homeostasis, all she's taking in for oxalate is this much. So now I can start moving oxalate out at the speed I want to. No, you want to keep it guessing a little bit. Oh, no, I can't do anything now because she's up again. Oh, and that can be really helpful for some people in moderating symptoms.
But we want to dump. We want to get it out of our system, but we want to do it slowly, is what you're saying. We want to moderate it. Moderate it so we're not in pain.
Yeah, because you can get really sick. I landed in the ER. I've had clients land in the ER.
I did.
This is not fun. And it can be life-threatening for some of us. Like I hit the ER with my blood pressure at 230 over 130. No, that's not funny.
Oh my goodness.
No, and that's not a typo. 230 over 130. So we just want to do this smart. Do we want that toxin out of our body? Of course we do. But in the same way that heavy metals can be dangerous, you can't chelate constantly, because if you've got a lot of heavy metals in there, that stuff's getting a second kick at the can as it leaves your body. Oxalate's got that same kind of capacity where it's got a second kick at the can as it leaves your body. Yeah. So it's as toxic on the way out as it was on the way in. It's just our health is at a very different position. So when I ate high oxalate foods in my 20s, I had capacity I did not have in my 40s and 50s. Right?
Makes sense.
So that bioaccumulation, we need to be respectful of the fact that that can be a big ticket item, and that our resilience and our bandwidth and our ability to handle our life has to be respected as well. So we have to work within our constraints there.